Hello friends, and welcome to episode 6 of my How to Backpack series. This episode we're going to be talking about the principles of leave no trace and controlling your impact while you're out in the bush. Let's get started. So the first principle is about planning ahead and preparing for your trip. This is really important because it ensures the safety of your group. It ensures that the impact that you're going to have is going to be managed to the utmost that you can. That, you have your garbage bag out there, you have a plan to manage your personal waste as well as the waste that you're going to create while you're out there. Also, by planning ahead, you ensure that you are going to accomplish the goals that you set out to do on your trip in a safe and efficient manner. And then as you go forward, this increases your confidence and you get to go out and learn and experience more from nature as you go out on more of these trips through reviewing your planning process and getting better at it over time. Principle 2 is about hiking and camping on durable surfaces. What they mean by a durable surface is something that isn't going to have a bunch of vegetation on it that you're going to trample by walking on it or setting your tent down on it. So something like gravel, sand, or a big slab of rock. Those are all really good spots because they can handle the wear and tear of walking on them. Whereas something like here we have these things known as cryptobiotic soils where it's this really thin crust on top of the dirt. If you even walk on one of them, a footprint actually is left deep in the crust, and that takes years and years to recover, and this greatly affects the soil health here. So it's important to consider the lasting effect you're gonna have just by walking and being in that area. So when you're hiking, it's important that you stay on trail as much as possible. But if you have to go off trail, such as when you're going to find some privacy to use the bathroom, it's important that you walk on these very durable surfaces as well and try to spread out that. It's also very important to minimize traffic around the high use areas of camp. So like your kitchen or over by the backpacks, so that these areas don't get really beat up, especially if you're in an area that didn't have a developed campsite beforehand and you had to go and sort of make your own or find a spot to put your tents. You don't want to have this huge lasting impact just from one visit, and you also don't want to attract other people to come in and use that spot because that's going to have a lasting impact. Once you go to leave, be sure that you leave it cleaner and better than the way you found it. And if you built that spot, be sure to cover some of your trails up and throw some pine needles over it so it doesn't look like anyone camped there. You want future hikers to not even know that you were there. That's the goal of this. Leave no trace. So every new experience of someone coming out here is going to be the same for generations to come. Principle 3 is disposing of waste properly. In general, the adage goes, if you pack it in, you have to pack it out with you. Any of the garbage that you produce or bring with you is going out with you. That's your plastic waste, that's supposed to be your toilet paper waste, and other paper waste. You're not actually even supposed to burn it. Adding on to this, when you go to do your business, it's important that the hole you dig is 6 to 8 inches deep, 4 to 6 inches deep if you're in the desert because it needs the added heat to help it decompose. Be sure that that cat hole is at least 200 feet from water and that you spread that all out. As I said before, if you have a large group, you don't want everyone going to the same spot because that's going to just kill the plants there. You need to distribute that impact. When you're doing your dishes at night, it's important that you get water from the creek and then go 200 feet from the creek or stream or whatever to do your dishes and dispose of the wastewater and distribute it as well of a fashion as you can. Principle 4 is leave what you find. This is pretty self-explanatory. The old adage for this one goes, take only pictures, leave only footprints. This is actually a huge problem in Petrified Forest National Park because people have gone in there and taken this petrified wood out of the park, so there's less and less. They estimate that there are several tons that actually get taken out of there every single year. So it's really important to leave what you find so that these really cool areas that we've decided to protect, and any area truly, even if it doesn't have protection, that this area remains special for generations to come. It's not like we can just push a magic button and reset it all. It's the way that raw nature has crafted it. There's something inherently important about that. It's also important that you don't construct improvements in the campsites that you visit, especially in wilderness areas. Part of the wilderness legislation is that there are no permanent human structures that are in this area. It is completely untrammeled by man. So it's very important to leave this in its primitive state and not add to basically garbage that's left at these campsites. That's just silly and you shouldn't do that. Also, don't deface our natural resources. That's just silly. Don't carve into trees, don't scratch into rocks. That really makes a lasting impact and it really detracts from the natural value that this area has, the natural beauty. Don't be that person. It's not worth it. Principle 5 is minimizing the impact from your fire. First of all, you should consider if you should even have a fire. Are there fire bans? Does it seem like a risky place to have a fire? Do you even need to have a fire? Is it going to be a waste of time? But if you do decide to have a fire, it's important that you use an existing fire ring if it's available. If you have to build your own, make a small fire ring and use only very small branches, no bigger than the size of an adult wrist. This will keep the fire burning low and reduce the impacts on the area. When you decide to put your fire out, it's very important that it is out cold. Embers can easily last overnight and ignite a fire long after you've left the site in the morning. Even if there aren't flames, there is still fire danger there, and you need to take care of that. It's part of responsible fire management. Please exercise that. Principle number 6 is respecting the wildlife. If you're lucky enough to see a beautiful creature on trail, don't go running after it. Don't get so close to it that you force it to run away from you. That stresses the animal out, and that really isn't good for it. Enjoy that animal from far away. Take pictures. Don't chase after it. Don't try feeding it to get a better shot of it or something like that. That's how you get yourself hurt. And that's how you also hurt the animals, because eventually creatures like bears, they correlate food with humans, and then they'll chase after humans for their food, and they can get aggressive. This leads to these bears being put down, and it's really sad. And this wouldn't be an issue if people would respect the wildlife, not feed them, and appreciate them from a distance. Principle 7, the last one, is being considerate of other visitors in this recreation area. Many people go out to the solitude that they find in nature in order to escape and find peace. Finding this peace gets very difficult if the other people who are recreating with you are very obnoxious, they're destroying the natural resources, or say they have a pet that's out of control. You want to avoid these things so that everyone can have a really enjoyable experience and get what they need to out of the natural resources. So respect these people by keeping noise down, keeping group limits small, keeping your pets under control, and respecting our natural resources. So much for watching today's video. If you've liked the series thus far, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you get a notification whenever I post a new video. New video is out every Monday at 5 p.m. And down in the comment section, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much and have a great day.